Good morning and welcome to another TCP in the morning news break. I am so excited to have all this Black girl magic going on here today. Today I have very special guests, Mbazi and her mother Annette, who are the founders of Black Girls Magazine. And so they are based out of Canada. And let me tell you something, if you were looking for a magazine that reflect Black girl magic, and if you were looking for a magazine that reflected melanated skin, this is what you have been looking for, and I am here to share it with you. So let's welcome them to the show today. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, how are you today?
We're good, thank you.
So I want to thank you for joining us. So I had actually been looking for a magazine for my daughter. She's 9 years old, and I wasn't finding really what I was looking for in terms of content and her being able to really be inspired by what she would be reading. Um, and so I actually like Googled like Black Girls Magazine, and you guys popped right up, and I was like, oh my goodness. So it was wonderful. It was a great surprise. So I just want to ask you, like, how was that to make the decision to do a magazine?
Well, it started with my daughter going to the library a lot. I took her to the library a lot when she was younger. But I was also aware that, like, I'm always trying to look for books that reflected who she was. And that was a bit hard to find. And so somehow along the way, um, we came from church one day, and she always had her friends over from church. And after we ate lunch, they went, sat down, and did what they love to do, go on the computer. And at that time, she was 9 years old, and so were her friends, 8 and 9 years old. And they would go on the computer and start drawing, like they use computer animations to create themselves. Now there's those apps that kind of allow them to create what they look like and stuff like that. But of course, there's very little that would reflect what they really look like, their hair, and it was so I they were, while they were creating that, I said, guys, how about let's stop. You, none of you look like any of these images you're creating. How about we create, there were about 5 or 6 of them, and I said, how about we sit down and just create our own magazine, create our own thing that looks like us. And because I mean they're just hanging out, they're like, yeah, sure, it sounded like exciting and fun. And that's kind of how it started. And then they invited their friends, and we started creating. She's very artistic, so she's like, some of the things that we started doing was creating comics aside from the articles that they would write. So we came up with the comic idea, and every magazine has comics in it as well. There's 2 comics, a superhero comic and then a regular comic. And so she was like the main person doing all the drawings and creating these characters who were her friends as well. And she would name them her friend names and give them the same characteristics and hair and stuff like her friends. And so that's how we started. And I didn't have any plans to publish or anything like that. But
Okay.
then after all the work they did, I was like, this is amazing. It's so beautiful. So we kind of just started out and made some copies, like 50 copies. And I said, take your friends, your parents, your teachers, let them see what you've done. And the parents were really, they were amazed, and they were like, wow, this is really great. And then we did a little kind of party, like when we first like the first magazine came out, and then we invited the parents, and they were so enthusiastic. I was like, really, is it that amazing? But it felt like it just felt like a little kid project, but the
Yeah.
parents were really happy. And
You guys
then
were underselling
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, they love the idea, I guess. And at first I was like, well, maybe they're just being supportive because it's their kids. But soon, like, we went and we were having a meeting at one of the local libraries, and then a librarian came over and talked to us and asked us what we were doing. And she said, wow, this is amazing. How about we subscribe when your first magazine comes out? I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yes, would be interested. And that's how we started out. And we had our first library subscription. And then I just pass on the magazines to other libraries to see if they're interested. And they all happened to be interested. And we kind of moved on from there. And the magazine's been going since. That was 2016.
Oh, wow.
June 2016 was the first publication we had.
Wow.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So I'm so curious about all of that. So I, so it definitely sounds like you guys were using like some kind of like coding app. So at least here in the States, we have like some coding apps that I've seen my daughter play on where she can make these characters. And she can make them walk and they can do all these different things. And like you said, they don't look like her. Like she can't even like change their color unless it's to make them like a witch. Like so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so I think that that's awesome that you suggested it and that the girls were interested and that they were able to maintain that excitement. So I have a question for you, Babazi. Like how long did it take to make the first magazine, and how was it working with your friends like that?
I think we thought when we first had the idea, it was around November of 2015. So it took us all the way to June of 2016 to get it published and actually get a physical copy of the magazine. But yeah, it was very exciting for sure to start because all of a sudden it's Saturday and I have all my friends here sitting in my living room and we're gonna make something and not just it's not just a creative expression, but we're actually doing something that we're fulfilling something where there is a lot of need, representation of Black girls, and it's there's always something that we feel needs to be said that that we don't really find in our society. So we felt like not only were we having fun, but we were also saying that thing within our work, within our artwork, within our writing. Yeah, it was really cool. And throughout the year, it keeps getting better. We keep getting to write about new things and talk to each other um, and experience new things and write about those things together. So it's definitely
Wow.
something that we grew, but it also grew us, I think.
Wow. So do you guys have like a retreat or anything like that you do before you guys start like the next edition or anything like that? Or like how do you guys like, do you all go to the same high school now? Or like how do you guys all keep it all together?
Um, we go to I don't think any of us, well, a few of us, like 2 or 3 girls might have gone to the same elementary schools. I know 2 of my friends who are originally in the magazine, they went to the same French immersion school and to the same high school. But most of us go to different schools. We have girls who come from lots of different suburbs around Toronto. We have girls from Scarborough and Brampton, which are like maybe like an hour away from where I live. And also have friends who are like down my street who also write for the magazine. But whenever we publish a magazine, before the pandemic, we used to have a get together just to talk about it, to get our magazines. To sometimes we got yeah, recently we started getting, over the past couple of years, honorary gift cards, maybe just like a Tim Hortons gift card for each of the girls who contributed to the magazine. So, but I think the reward is really in seeing what you made. You have a physical magazine, or now an online magazine, but even that, it just looks amazing, and you get to be proud of something that you did together.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, it sounds like you guys have definitely made like friendships for life. And that is a whole nother dynamic with Black girls and women and friendships and relationships. So I think that that is fantastic, and that you guys were able to find a creative outlet for that. You know, I think we hear so much about like dance and like other creative pathways, but writing and art is a great way to be creative and express ourselves. And I think that there are a lot of young people who have those skills and those talents. And you know, we got to find them. You know, and I think that that's awesome that, you know, Mom, you kind of saw, you were like, hey, you know, these girls are doing something, you know, and I think that
they
that's
were.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's not like most of the articles, it's not like we were looking for like great writers. Like everyone was, you know, like they were welcome to contribute and write their articles or draw whatever. Like we've never really turned away like an article or drawing or anything like that, because we just feel this is the girls expressing themselves, right? And when we first started out, we brought out a whole bunch of magazines about girls, and of course there was very, very little representation. But I said, you guys like reading these magazines, so how about you tell your stories? You look at what they've done. What do you love best about these magazines that you read, and what can you bring to the magazine, to Black Girls Magazine, that is also, because I mean, especially if you're kind of stuck and you don't know what to write about the things that you love to read about. And so one of the things that we do in the like we always before the pandemic, now we just do all meetings on Zoom. We met like once a month, but sometimes if it required, we met more often. Um, and so we always started out with a pizza party kind of thing, and just hanging and everyone kind of loosening up and getting, you know, having fun. And then we got down to just, I usually let them sort of take the lead. What do you want to write about? And then so just kind of give them I guess, the stage to decide what articles are going to go in the magazine, what they want to see, what do you want other people to read about you, and what do you want to represent. So most of the time, some of the girls, they're great writers, and then there are those writers who struggle. But then what used to happen is that we read, like we share our stories, and like we read to everyone, takes turns to read out loud, and then everyone gets to critique and say, hey, you shouldn't have said that, maybe you should say it this way. So they kind of edit each other's ideas, and then they go back and work on that, and they come back, everyone shares and reads out aloud, and that's how we kind of get everyone's ideas kind of together. And they work hard, so they do research, and I'm like, you know, you just can't write stuff without being sure what it is you're writing, but you got to go research this person, or you got to go find out what it is you're talking about. So they put in a lot of work. And so it is, aside from the fact that, you know, they're just writing, but they're also skill building, and they're developing their writing skills, and which is obviously very good for school. And I think that's one of the benefits, and one of the things that the parents love is that they're actually working in a fun environment, in a very different, not a classroom environment as academics, but also in a very social, popular culture, while enjoying what they're doing, but also building their writing skills, research skills. And we do a lot of things together. We would go out to the movies together, and especially if it was a movie about, you know, like had black lead characters and stuff. And then we would all come and sit down and critique it, and everyone would have a take, and they would put that down, and that would be one of like our movie reviews. And we've had trips and we do things together and write about them, so everyone kind of knows what to expect. When we're going out, we're not just going out, we're actually learning together. We've been to and they've had a lot of opportunities as well, because we've had people like invite them to conferences to cover like film festivals, if there's like a Black lead character, like a kid especially, and they've been given like these honor journalist like
you guys are the media.
Yeah. I know. So we went, like, the Canadian Space Agency, we asked, like, we just want to go. We had to take the train, which was fun because it was like a 4-hour train from here to Montreal and from Toronto to Montreal. So that was a trip. We're going to go to the Canadian Space Agency, and they allowed us to go there because it's not really open to the public, but they said, oh, you're journalists, so come on. So it's been fun at the same time, it's fun. It's been fun for them. They know they have to write, and they're like, oh, we have to write about this. But at the same time, when they see what they just did, and the fact that, like, there's we have quite a number of libraries now. Like, you enter the library and you see your magazine there, and they're proud of that. It's not print anymore for now, but we hope to return to print in the future. It's ever since June, we've gone become an e-magazine, but we hope in the future. That was really the main thing. Like, we wanted a physical magazine. You can go into the library, and like, there's a magazine that looks like you, and you can pick it up, because we don't really have that. So that was the only maybe first magazine we've ever had in any, or the girls had ever seen in any library, that just was about Black girls. So it's been amazing. It's been great.
Yeah, the print version definitely needs to make a comeback.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. We hope it will, because that was always the idea. We wanted a print version, and hopefully we'll do that soon.
Well, all right, ladies. So as we wrap up this interview, again, I just want to say thank you so much. Your story is so inspiring. My older daughter is floating around here, so I hope that she heard this interview.
Oh, how old is she?
She's 9.
Oh, she's 9. Okay. Because we do have, after she turned like 14, then we started the teen as well. So we have the younger version and then the older version. That's how we kind of been able to keep the girls, so that they're not kind of off and gone, like as soon as they turn 13 or 12. So it's, so that's
almost
been helpful. Yeah.
Like JV and varsity.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, how would if girls wanted to submit stuff, are you guys like taking submissions, or like, is it only like for girls who are local? So how could somebody be involved or submit some writings or art?
Yeah, we do take submissions. It does say so, like, even in the magazine, like, if you got, like, we ask girls, send in your submissions, tell us your stories. You got jokes, you got riddles, you got, stories, fiction, whatever you want. So usually, we have the kids version. It's published twice a year. So we have June and December for the 8 to 12, and then the teen version we publish in May and November. So right about now, like, the girls are writing, and we usually also, like, if people followed us on Instagram or Facebook, you would see, like, we usually talk about post the dates for when we're gonna be, what our themes are, if we have a theme, and when the publication is when we're gonna get the publication, the articles, when we need the articles in. So for the June edition right now, And the May edition, they can be sent in by end of February,
Okay.
or yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. And what's your IG handle?
It's at From BGM with Love.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much. All right, guys. Stay tuned for more TCP in the morning.
Thank you.